on the.
So, okay. Good evening, all. We can start. Please, Karin.
Oh, Duval. Hop.
Yeah.
Now we are starting. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this 13 now. My God, it's going so fast. Ukraine meeting. We have the great honor and the great pleasure. I'm very, very pleased they accepted to talk with us, Maxim and Irina Dondyuk. Maxim and Irina Dondyuk work together. He's a Ukrainian visual artist working in the field of documentary, and she's his manager. Maxim worked for a long time. Sorry?
And wife.
Yes, I thought it was a little obvious.
I think it's harder than be manager.
Okay, she is his wife and manager, or manager and wife. He works for a long time on a very difficult and deep and intense subjects like Chernobyl, for example, with documentary matters, letters, archives, with destructed objects and pictures. He works on this photography matters, and he works nowadays in Ukraine, of course, to document the war that is happening, and he's going to tell us more about it. Of course, they're going to present themselves and say what they're doing, how they can interact. He can talk a little about the most of the subject of his work, and then I'm going to have a lot of questions for them. So please, Maxim and Irina, it's you.
Yeah, thank you. Firstly, thank you so much for invitation. Yes, it's a great pleasure to meet with all of you. Maybe for the moment through Zoom, but maybe sometime we will meet in Paris. Yeah.
Or Kiev.
Or Kiev. Yeah.
After war. Yes, thank you. I'm just happy to speak about situation, because we need to spread information and share this. Yeah, even now the whole world support Ukraine, but we still continue to explain maybe Russian mentality, why it's happening and why it's too hard to stop Russian now. If we speak about conflict, really, yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. If we just speak about Russian mentality, I think it's too complicated to understand European or American or West culture, because I met here a lot of photographers and journalists who live in Europe or America, and sometimes it looks like they cannot understand if they not live in Moscow or this area, because some journalists lived and understand it. It's completely different mentality than European, because Russian mentality believe only power, really only power. It's like, I don't know, it's like some hooligans or somebody else. So if you try to speak with Russian people or with Russian government and try to make some diplomacy negotiations, they think you're weak. They push you immediately. So they really believe only power. And problems that everybody just try to make some negotiation. And it's the same problem like was central. It's not like hundreds years ago, but it's like during Second War. They try to do something with Hitler. They try to speak with him. And what happens? It happens. But if European Union governments or America help Ukraine in 2014, in 2014, it was much more easy to stop Putin. So every year it's harder and harder stop, because now it's not Putin, because sorry, but in Bucha, it wasn't Putin with automat. It was Russian soldier, it's father, son, I don't know, just brother. It's just normal Russian soldier, but they're like barbarians. It's about the whole country. It's not like about Putin. If we killed now Putin, nothing changed. If you think that we killed Putin and everything changed, sorry, no.
I'm going to ask you very naive questions, so just be aware of that, because I think sometimes it needs to be asked, but because as I told you before, there's a lot of things we can't understand from the French or German side. So for example, when you say that people can't understand, as a photographers, you see photographers for years now coming to make pictures. Let's keep that photography and then for the, on the overall level. But for example, what kind of mistakes photographers do if they are not in Ukraine or in Russia when they don't understand what is happening?
It's not about photography. It's a big mistake of journalists. They just have idea, come to Ukraine and try to realize this idea. It's stupid. You create some idea in Paris, come to Ukraine and try to looking for, I don't know, Nazi or old woman who refugees from Lugansk or something else. So you just close your eyes for reality. You just try to create some story. You read the story or watch CNN or BBC and come. So most of the journalists come in Ukrainian and try to, I don't know, like reproduce the same story, maybe with another characters, but the same story. Because it's, of course, it's too hard. Even magazine now, or I don't know, TV don't have money. They put photographer or journalists for months that understand the situation, because now it's daily news and social media, and you need to do some work every day or every week like magazine. So the biggest idea, some journalists or big magazine or TV create some stereotype and another just reproduce it all the time.
And for example, what would be the stereotype on Russia and what would be the stereotype on Ukrainians?
Stereotype, what just stereotype about Russia or Ukrainian?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just what replies. I don't know what to say, because it's mostly stereotype not about Russia and Ukraine. It's like about somebody read about Azov and think it's Nazi. Okay, and they come to here and don't want to listen about the Nazi or not Nazi. I don't want to speak about this because it's long conversation, but they read in some magazine or some, TV that Azov it's Nazi, and they come and listen people and they share some information, but they listen and write only about Nazi because they try to find only information about Nazi. Oh, you have some tattoo. Oh, it just looks like Nazi. Sorry, it's just pagan's tattoo. It's from just previous era before Orthodox. Yeah, of course, Hitler used the same symbol for fascism, but it's from previous era before Hitler. And yes, some Azov people, they pagans, they believe in not like a Christian or Orthodox, so they used a lot of, and some part of Nazi, another part not Nazi. I speak, it's like too complicated discussion, but people just come and just explain everybody from Azov Nazi.
But if I get you right, it is mainly the approach of many photojournalists that you dislike, that you say they are not open enough to see what is happening. They have a structure already in their head, and what they do is then an illustration of the structure they come to Ukraine with. Maybe we can talk about something very interesting here. When I was preparing the post and the announcement, that you yourself, you don't call yourself a photojournalist, you're an artist. I have seen all the work that I could find on the webpage. I really love the variety of approaches and the artistic approaches. Where would you see the main difference between an artistic approach to work with such a situation and a documentary approach? And where would you place yourself?
First of all, I'm not thinking that every photographer or photojournalist or journalist come and do like not deep story, because especially some photographer come to Ukraine from 2014 and maybe first years they do like not deep story, but now they spent 8 years in Ukraine and understand this country better than some photojournalists who come only after this conflict start now on this second phase. So it's too many photographers and journalists or writers who spend a lot of time in Ukrainian. So their material, I think, much more better and stronger, like Jerome Cecile, who just come on Maidan, or another people. Even now, just James Nachtvin come and I work with him few weeks, and he never listened about Ukrainian culture, but all the time he tried to understand. He asked me about many questions about history between Ukraine and Russia, about our culture, and try to understand. It depends of mentality, of what people want to do. Some photographer or writer come here for make some hot story, and another try to understand. So it's not like, but of course, people, if they don't understand Ukrainian language, if they don't know our culture, don't know our history, it's just too hard. Like for me, if I go to Paris or in another country, I need to spend a lot of time for learning, education, your culture. So it's like this. And yeah, question was, I just again forgot.
The difference, like in the approach,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you
Okay,
yourself placing your work in the visual arts, not in the documentary, but you work with documentary. So what I understand is you are between the worlds.
So it's just a good question, because before Maidan, I just work like a classical documentary photographer and make like tuberculosis project, and another it was like documentary project without any. I just concentrate for story for magazine or for publication mostly. Yeah, only during Maidan my visual language changed, and I just start thinking about different perspective. But now it's too hard to find difference between my work and between maybe photojournalists. Yeah, of course, my visual language completely different than another photographer. And I can select not for magazine, because now I can send to magazine some picture what they need. I can find, because for me, for my project, I need one picture per day. It will be amazing. It will be perfect if I do it. One picture per week, it will be nice. Yeah, and but now I try to fight with my camera, because it's my weapons. Now everybody try to resist Russian aggression. IT teacher go to the army and tranchee and try to stop Ukrainian army. Women support with food or medicine or something else. A lot of volunteers. So everybody decide how they can resist Russian invasion. I try to fight with Russian propaganda, and now I'm just work like photojournalist, like documentary photographer, and like visual artist. But it's not like I can say, oh, this I take for myself, this I do for just magazine. It's now I'm just like, it's mixed. I just like fight. So I just try to spread information. True, what happened in Ukrainian, it's different media, like Time magazine, Spiegel magazine, interview, and everywhere. And now mission not create art project or documentary art. Now mission just spread true picture from my country, because it's history moment for me, and I don't know what will be. Maybe we will win, maybe we will lose. So I need to just document this.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. And you talk about a lot of magazines. I was interested in how it switched, because suddenly you must have had a lot of requests, and maybe that those requests were different than the requests you had before. Maybe they were new. Was there some difference between the usual people you were working with in the worldwide magazines and those you are working now? Do they ask different things? Do they try to ask you things you don't want to do?
You mean I need to do something what I don't want? Yeah. You just just even you understand question? Yeah.
Huh?
just don't understand question. You mean magazine asked me about
Yes, for example, do you have more requests from magazine? Do you have requests that are not easy to understand? How do you work with all these people now?
May I
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, because I maybe not understand. Yeah.
Yeah, firstly, Maxim doesn't work with magazines so much. Before this war, he had like a strong relationship with only two magazines, it's Time and Spiegel. We are in very good relationship with them, and we just collaborate with them when we want and when they need, when Maxim have time, for example. And
it's few times per year. Yeah, it's just one assignment or two assignments per year. It's not like make money. It's like relationship. Yeah.
It's not all the time, and right at the moment, Maxim collaborate also with Time and Spiegel. And about your question whether he has to do something what he doesn't want, of course there are some things which magazines always ask. It's like interviews, portraits, or something which is not important for such photographers as Maxim, who want to document the aftermath, everything what is happening right now in Ukraine. But he always tried to find like to negotiate with this magazine at the moment, so he has time for his own project, for his own documentation, and from time to time also to make these subjects which magazine want him to do.
Can I explain?
Yes.
How I do it? Yeah, first of all, just now I work mostly for Spiegel, and it looks like they really support me. I'm really thankful for Spiegel and photo editor Tinka, because they just support me. Maybe they not needed a lot of picture from me, but they just it's a lot of money now cover war, because it's not like easy now just travel during war and find sometimes car and hotel. It's like it's too hard. Yeah, it's, believe me, it's just so expensive, and we try to manage it together, because I work with journalists in the same area. So we go to the Kharkiv, but different car. Maybe we come together and travel in different car, and they make interview, and sometimes I spend a day, or just I have a few hours afternoon or evening, and I just after I go to these people and make mostly portrait. And another picture I do by myself, with journalists or without journalists. It depends if journalists want to travel with me. So we just if we just work for magazine, I need to do 2 or 3 portraits during the week, and it's not too hard to find time for, this.
Also very important that the magazine with whom Maxim work and Maxim's interests, they have something in common, and they had the same understanding of the problem. Because of course, if the magazine have totally different idea and totally different meaning of everything that is happening, Maxim wouldn't work with them. So it's very important that we are in the same position, in the same
on the same page.
Yes.
Yeah, it's what happens. I don't know if it's good if I speak it in live, but I just, when I have been in Kharkiv, it's Bucha happens, and in Kiev it was photographer and writer from Spiegel, and writer who was with me Kharkiv. He said, I don't want to go to the Bucha, but it's my country. It's firstly for me, it's just like a historical moment. So I just say, I go to the Bucha and say, if you cancel assignment, okay, I understand you, but for me, sorry, I need to go to the Bucha. And they continue my assignment, and mostly not using my picture, but I just can. So it was like, sometimes I do some crazy thing, and they just, I don't know, still work with me, because maybe they understand I'm here not like a photographer who come for make project or assignment. I documentary history moment of my country. For me, it's very important. First, a documentary and very important situation in my country, and secondary, I try to do everything for magazine, but sometimes I lost mind and do like crazy situation, unfortunately, for magazine.
What do you mean crazy situation? You're doing
like
what
just
you think
say
is right.
I go to the butcher and go to the butcher and write it without photographer, but we found because I can I just cannot stop myself. Just sometimes it's for me it's very important. I try to do all my best for magazine and understand how it's hard work with me. Because if we go to the, I don't know, another country or Germany or France or another, of course, I just share all my time with magazine, with writer, and try to do like a magazine story. But now it's not magazine story for me. Maybe for writer, it's magazine story. They come to Ukraine for a week, for two, but I work without any day off not from first day. I work in front line 2 days before war in East Ukraine. So just I work from 5 February, just non-stop.
I have the feeling that you're making that work non-stop from the beginning. I mean, for decades now. It's like, for me, I'm from Polish origin, so it's not that far. I feel something I can understand sometimes. What did you changed? I mean, with your work with Chernobyl, what was very moving for me is that you changed the perspective. It was not only the catastrophe; it was a lot of other things also, and it's kind of heartbreaking to see how it became completely something awful while it was just full of life and people before. And I really admire how you have been able to put back the life and the perspective in a nightmare. And this is a powerful tool. How did you manage to, what do you use? How you change your work? How did you adapt? Or maybe you didn't, to what is happening right now for 2 months now?
I think just how I'd say, I don't have idea for project. I try to feel project. I just go to Chernobyl after I spent a year, 2014, I spent most of the whole year in the war. It was horrible year for me. I mean, just it's a lot of risky situation, and it was like psychological also hard for me. And after I just go to Chernobyl because I want to rest of people, I want to rest of death, I want to rest of war. I go to the emptiness area and just take a few pictures. And after I just not like me find this project. It looks like project open for me this portal. I just walking in Chernobyl area and find few picture and after start thinking. So you should to be concentrate on present moment and can see a lot of different story. I just didn't have any idea in Chernobyl, and idea found me. And this was the same situation now. So just sometimes I have idea conceptual. I think half year or more how I want to create something like white project from Donbass when I come back also to Donbass and create some just completely destruction building. It's like scum of war from very bloody place during 2014, and now it's emptiness. Sometimes I have conceptual ideas, sometimes I just try to feel moment. I try to, it's like just you try to be in present, and sometimes you can see reality and see a lot of I don't know, ideas, project. Because sometimes if you just have only one idea, you just try to do it and spend the whole energy only for this. And if you cannot do it, you just try to find it. I think it's not a good idea. Just better open mind and like scanner, just like looking for what you can do. And like in Chernobyl, I have abstraction series, I have archive, I have letters, I do my pictures. So it's, I don't know if we can say it's project. It looks like many projects from one place.
Thank you. And I also wanted you to come back to what we said at the very beginning, because we were very concerned of maybe finding ideas of how to think about this war and this invasion and maybe to help. And you said it's too late because we were supposed to help Ukraine when it was 2014. But even if it's too late to help concretely, are there any keys to understand better the situation? How not to make some mistakes, how to understand better Ukrainian and the invasion that is what it is now?
Yeah, I would say before, first of all, you should understand Russian mentality. They respect only power, real power. Sometimes if you use power, they even don't try to make steps because they see power. They see some power man and say, okay, I don't want to fight. Sometimes it's better, and should understand that for Russian, not for Putin, for Russian mentality, diplomacy negotiation, it means you weak. Immediately, it means you weak. And unfortunately, after annexation Crimea and war in East Ukraine and from 2014, European country looks like, say, not a lot of support in Ukraine and not try to stop. They say, okay, it's some conflict, it's conflict inside of Ukraine, it's maybe citizen war, but it's completely not like this. It's completely, I'm sure European government have a lot of evidence about Russian army in Ukraine during 2014. I saw Russian just prisoners during 2014. A lot of YouTube video you can see. So everybody just keeps silence about Russian, because war start not now. War start from 2014. Now just continue after negotiation. Even now, if we make some negotiation with Putin, with Russia, after a few years, he continue war. Maybe not with Ukrainian, maybe against of NATO, Lithuania, Romania, Belarus try to invasion. I don't know. So all the time he make war in Georgia, in everywhere, in Syria. Every few years he make new war. Irina, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think this is Europeans and Americans and the whole other world, they need to understand not just Russian mentality, but the difference between Russian and Ukrainian mentality. Because why the whole world tried to negotiate, to think that we can speak with Russia together, because of this like concept of brotherly nations. Everyone thinks that we are like brothers with Russia, but it's not true. And we, even though that we are very close, that for a long time we were under Russian power, we never were like them. We have a totally different mentality, and it's on all levels. And this what European people, they couldn't understand for a long time. And I think only now during this war, unfortunately, or maybe luckily, people start to understand that we are two different people. We are not the same. Yeah, we have different culture, we have different mentality, we have different attitude to family, to friendship, to everything. So we as Ukrainians, of course, will be more like think about negotiation than Russians, as Maxim said. And this, if people will more and more understand this difference, they will more and more, I think, do right steps to help Ukraine and to stop this war and to to break this like chain which connects us with Russians.
But now for stop war, they not needed to understand Ukrainian, so it's nothing changed. They needed to understand Russia. And unfortunately, before 2014, if I go to some country and say I'm Ukrainian, they think that I'm Russian. It's like some region in Russia, and you can check how many Ukrainians, painter, artist, writer, musician was annexation like just from Russia. Russia say it's Russian, but it's not Russian, it's Ukrainian. They just use our culture people. They used and tried to mix during Soviet Union. Stalin just sent a lot of Russian people from different republic to Donbass, and now Donbass speak Russian. But before, I don't know how it say Golodomor, you can just translate.
Starvation. Before starvation.
Starvation, yes.
It
famine.
was starvation, yeah. It's not too many people just die in Donbass. And but before, everybody speak only Ukrainian. It was really Ukrainian area. And after too many just poor people go to the, like miner, go to the work on the mine from Kazakhstan, Russia, Siberia, and everywhere. And now they say, like in Crimea, we are Russian. Yeah, of course you're Russian because you killed our people. Before, it was empty region and you just put a lot of Russian. Yeah, they try to destroy our culture. Like now, he continued genocide.
But then I'm going to ask, remember, I'm here to ask the stupid questions. If they are doing this, why weren't the Ukrainian protesting and expressing their own identity? I know it's a stupid question, but I have to ask.
This is also, I think, the revolution, Maidan revolution in 2013, it helped Ukrainian people to finally understand their identity, to feel it, and to want to express themselves more. From 2013, more and more people start talking Ukrainian, not Russian, but Ukrainian. More and more people wanted to show, to express them as Ukrainians in everything, in art, in their like ordinary work, in everything. So before, of course, all this long history of being under Russian power, of course, it played a great role. But it doesn't...
More than 300 years we fight with Russia. You know now about war, but Ukrainian fight with Russia approximately 300 years.
Yes. So, of course, it's very difficult to make the changes. But even though already from, as I said, from Maidan revolution, everything started changing, and very quickly, actually. And right now, Ukrainians, they express themselves and very expressing in a very good way. Maybe Europeans, they don't see it so much, but still, I can see how people they like reject everything Russian. Of course, I can't say that all this rejection it is like very good. Maybe it's too strong rejection, but I think we are right now at such point when people just need this stage. And after when I think maybe some years pass after this war, and we will already be like one united nation with a strong understanding of our real identity, our separate identity. And Russia, after this, Russia won't be able to come and say anything here in our land.
I wish so.
Yeah, Russia just united Ukrainian. It's true. After it's too many revolutions. It looks like Ukrainian love revolution because it's Orange Revolution and Maidan Revolution and before was revolution and all the time. It's not just Ukrainian.
Like
Ukrainian want to be democracy. They want to be like with some king or just Tsar. Yeah, because Russia Russian people don't like revolution because because if Paris something happen, everybody go to protest. It's normal for people. They want to say, government, please, we don't like it. We just want to change it. And Ukrainian try to do it. But of course, a lot of people, like generation of my parents, think it's not like Russian or Ukrainians. It's Soviet Union mentality. It's just like mix between everything. It's very hard to understand it, but it's Soviet Union mentality, and they just dream about. Some people dream about come back to the Russia not because they love Russia. They want to go back to Soviet Union because some part of life was easy in this period for just worker class. They just go to the factory, make some money, and just 40 years work only one factory, one place, make some money, have just free apartment and Deutsche, and travel to the Sochi and or Crimea, and don't think about the future. And government decide you just like a slave. They say you should go to the factory, and we just give you apartment and money, and you will do what we say. And he say yes. So it's this mentality. When I speak with people in Donbass, they say we don't want to do freedom. We don't want to go to another country or make our business. It's not for us. We want to go to the factory 40 years. And after drink beer near TV, also 40 years every evening. We want to eat. We don't want to be like independent, try to make business. It's not for us. We don't want to do it.
So it's much, in Poland they say that at least in the Soviet Union, nobody had anything, but everybody had the same nothing.
Yes.
It's not like same nothing, because now it looks like if you adapt in this moment and you can make money, you can do something. But if you like worker, just a lot of factory closed, a lot of place, just, I don't know, factory or another place like farms or something else closed. So a lot of people don't know how make money, and they're really poor. It's in Lugansk and Donetsk, it's very poor region. So it's just also problem Ukrainian government, because they say you need to adapt, blah 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 blah. But unfortunately, we can see what happened in Lugansk area, in Donetsk area, and just like. Yeah, it's the same problem in America, who just go vote for the Trump. It's the same mentality also. They from factory or something else, and they think, oh, immigrants destroy our life. But it's not because this. It's just because your work now not needed. Now just post-industrial area. Nobody need to factory. Now just a lot of factory closed, and just robot do something. So just change work, and you should understand now just post-industrial area. Just it was previous area when we need to go to the factory. Now it's completely different.
It's completely different, but the difference is something that the Soviets don't like. So everybody is fighting the difference, if I understand correctly.
Yeah. Everybody just, it's like during revolution, just I make just project about revolution and call it culture of confrontation, because it's just like confrontation between two cultures who lived in one country. Because one part of people want to come back to the Soviet Union, and another part just want to be part of European Union. But now, believe me, when I just have been last time a few weeks ago in Kharkiv, people say me in 2023, before one day before war, people love Putin, people love Russia, but now everybody from Kharkiv, because Kharkiv it was really pro-Russian city, not like half, but a lot of people, maybe 30, maybe 40 people just supporting Russia. And now some guys say me, if I see Putin, if I will meet him, I killed him myself because he destroyed my city.
But
now he united even people who was pro-Russian against of Russia.
But you
It
mean
makes
that even if in that country where you said that the war was already there for years, there were still people pro-Russian?
Because war not just like local war, it's like believe me, if in France will be war not in Paris and another area during 8 years, nobody care about this war in Marseille. It will be like, oh, it's far away. It's
Especially
just,
in Marseille, nobody will care, believe me.
no, I'm just
You can bomb it.
yeah, it's just like, yeah, because Kiev, it's normal city, Lviv, it's normal city, so war like in Donbass, and only people who go to the war, or if some
Yeah, this is what some people from eastern parts of Ukraine, they sometimes complain that why right now all Ukrainians and all the world says that, oh, how bad the situation is. Why nobody tells anything, told anything like when everything started in Donbass. And it was continuing for 8 years and everyone were silent. Kiev lived its own life. The whole Ukraine was like felt very good, but of course those people who were from those spots, they felt already not so good about Russia, because they already felt what Russian world can bring to them. And now when the whole Ukraine is under fire, of course everyone now understand, and and all people can see that it's not fake, it's not like Ukrainian propaganda or something like that. It's real, and it really comes from Russian side. That of course it's hard to say now for Ukraine, for Russian propagandists that no, Ukrainians tell not true. They lie about everything. We do not bomb them. But now we can see that no, it's really from them. It's really because of them, and of course it changes everything.
yeah, even after 2014, if you go to some place like Kharkiv, where just it's never bombing before, and you go to some place and babushki, just old woman sitting, I don't know, near house, they spend the whole life in Soviet Union, they love Soviet Union, and all the time speak, it's Putin good, Putin strong, it will be better if it will be Russia. But now if you go, it's so funny, they speak, they never fight, they never win Ukrainian army. Ukrainian, so it's just like pro-Ukraine, all old women was pro-Russian, not all, but a lot of, and now they pro-Ukrainian because their son or grandson died or just was wounded or their house was shelling. So we called Russia like Russianism. It's just like you can see even Wikipedia this word. It's just like neo-fascism with Russian cultural mentality. It's like Russianism. I just think we fight against fascism, but sorry, they do the same what fascism do, but without, it's like neo. It's like new idea, but the same situation. Yeah. So now I think 99% Ukrainian people hate Russia. And it's because of Putin start war. So they make Ukrainians strong, but too many people die, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's so bad for us, but of course, European country, America, Great Britain, and every country try to support us. But after Bucha, we should to wait Bucha, that Germany sent weapons, yeah, or we should to wait bombing Kiev, yeah. Sorry, it's just like you go to the doctor after you shoot amputation legs. Now we lost a lot of territory. It's not like support Ukrainian, try to keep alive Ukrainian without some part of body, unfortunately. And of course, now I cannot understand. We have people, we have brave soldiers, we have amazing army. We just resist the whole country, women, men, old women and men, and even children sometimes help. We need just only weapons, heavy weapons. We need aircraft, we need tanks, because we can resist, but we cannot attack. We need to liberate our territory, but without heavy weapons we cannot do it.
Mm. Unfortunately, I don't have any heavy weapon in my pocket, so I'm
Yeah, of course, I understand.
It's
Yeah,
complicated for me.
but it's because European country afraid of Putin. They not send Ukrainian heavy weapons because they afraid, and he understands it.
Yeah.
They're afraid and fascinated. We talked about it for a long time with somebody else, that there is a kind of fascination for Russia, especially in France.
Oh.
It's
the same situation with Hitler. Great Britain Prime Minister speak with Hitler about Czech Republic, Czech Republic, and give him some part, and about Poland, and what after? If Putin want to fight against of NATO, it will be sooner or later. You can do any negotiation. You can try to speak with him, but if he wanted, now I think he not fight against of Ukraine. He all the time say he fight against of NATO. Now he fight against of NATO in our country, but after it will be in your country.
Mm.
So if you want to wait, it will be just more bloody war in Europe also. And you should understand it. He hate NATO, he hate European country, he dream destroyed European Union, not Ukraine.
And this is, when you told that you don't have this heavy weapon, your weapon, as well as Maxim's, it's with your help, we can spread the information. You talk with Ukrainian artists, you share their Ukrainian culture also, so it helps a lot. Of course, the whole world right now, they are with Ukrainians, and they spread, they share not only war photography, I don't mean only this, but our art. Artists, they can express themselves outside Ukraine, and this is really also very powerful tool. So the more we talk, the more we share, the more we work together, the more powerful we become against Russia.
I hope it won't be too long, because this power thing exists, but it's a slow one.
No.
I want to say the same, because it's we cannot stop Putin now.
No.
Speaking, So, but European Union should understand only once, everybody, government firstly. If they not help Ukrainian now, it will be continue, like 2014. It will be continue in European Union area after Ukraine. So if they not send Ukrainian heavy weapons, not try to help with aircraft, tanks, some missile, anti-aircraft system, Ukrainian will be weak, because now Ukrainian just resist European Union border. Of course, a lot of people think that just he hate only Ukraine and blah, blah, blah. Like before he said, he need only Crimea, so he just took Crimea and stop after it. No, he never stopped.
If I can just wave in one interesting thing. From this side here, with French people, for example, not everybody knows where is Crimea. I think maybe a few people would be able to say where is Chechnya, for example. Really. They now realize Ukraine is so close. But all this, we are all suffering right now from the very strong, powerful influence and will of Russia, that they manage to make everybody forget where and what are the countries. We forget, we don't know. we don't know where they are, and we don't know who they are. We have no idea what do they want and what kind of people they are and what are. It's a kind of blurry place, and unfortunately, it's too slow. I'm sorry, we are doing whatever we can. It's too slow, but we are trying to make them exist and being placed on the map very quickly, because people don't always realize that Ukraine is the border of Europe. They don't always realize that Russia is not that European at all. Because you speak about this fascination for power. It's difficult on this side of Europe to understand that diplomacy is the sport of the weak people, that is despised, because it is not the case here. It is because of diplomacy that we don't have wars for so many time, so for so long. So it's difficult to understand that strength, aggressivity, and are real values, because on our side, the pictures of Putin playing the strong man with bears and being naked and everything are funny. For us, it's funny. You just look at it and oh, that's sarcastic, that's ironic, it's so funny. And people don't realize that a whole part of the country really enjoys it and thinks it's normal. And this is how a man and a leader is supposed to be. Especially in France, because we have this very ironic relationship to our government. And to me, the ironic way of looking at power that we developed here in Western part of Europe makes us blind to look at how the other part of Europe look at power. Because there is no irony in the eyes of the Russian people looking at Putin. And all these differences, I don't know how to explain them. I don't know how to, in 2022 France, how to explain to someone that Putin, there is no irony when people look at Putin. That this is the true face of what they want.
It just, I think it's easy to understand. Everybody agree with me that East philosophy completely different than West. Taoism, Buddhism, and another, it's different mentality, yeah? So Russia, the same. It's not West mentality. If you want to understand Russia, you should to read Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, and another. And you see even in the hundreds years ago in some literature about that some politic made some negotiation and after laughing, ha, the stupid French king think we just sign it and we just do it. Ha, it's stupid. It's funny. It's funny they believe that some sign it's make power. It's nothing. It just us. So it's like, yeah, you should to just understand it's completely different mentality, and you try to see in the Russia with your eyes, with your mentality, with your logic, but it's completely different. It's just completely different. It's like
I know, but
another culture.
The strong face they give to the Western Europe works, because you talk about Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, everything. Yes, I understand. I read them, but it's very difficult from somebody from France or England or Germany not, but for us to enter it, because very long sentences, very slow way of thinking, and all the names are more or less the same. So for our side, it's very, you have to make a lot of effort to get into that. So you go through digests, you go through movies, you go through versions, and all this all these things you're talking about, just like, oh, look at the French, we just had them again because they're so stupid, they sign a paper, disappear in movies, because you have to go into the little things to read it. So there's a lot of things that are lost. And as you said, they despise the diplomacy. Yeah, you're right. But they are into, it's like the Front National in France. They don't want Europe, but they're in all the institutions. So this two face all the time is just like China, just like some Arab countries. It's extremely difficult here to understand that. It's difficult to think it. And it's even more difficult to think, this is a very personal input. When I wanted to explain my French boyfriend what is a Russia, I thought you're making a mistake because you think it's European because they are white. Just think it's like the gate to Asia. It's Asia. It's the beginning of Asia. Just think of a Chinese that with a white face, and he took 10 years to understand it. He understands it now. So you have this double face all the time, and unfortunately, the face work. So we are trying, and I'm sorry to take all this time, but we are desperately trying to show it.
It's the same problem like we spoke about journalists who come to Ukraine. You try to use your logic with different culture. Like journalists come to Ukraine and try to create a European story about Ukraine. But you should to understand this country and after understand what tools you can use for communication in this country. So everybody, not everybody, a lot of people maybe watched a TV show like Vikings. So they barbarians, now they barbarians, they just like maybe European country 200 or 300 years ago. So you just can read your books about how you just go, how European country go to America or Africa and about it. So it's the same. Now they just, it's like slow evolution. Their mentality, like European Union mentality 300 years ago. The barbarians, they try to do everything from power. They want to fight. They just dream about war. They just live in very poor, I don't know, village without water, without gas, sometimes without electricity, and so honor of war, of power, of country. It's completely different mentality, and it's problem. You try to use your tools with different culture, and don't understand why it's not work, because it just not work, doesn't work with Russia.
But then I have again another stupid question. Why do you think we couldn't see it before? Because it's not new. There have been poor for a long time. There are like the wars are ongoing for a long time. The aggressivity is there for a very long time.
It's easy. It's easy. It's easy. You have trauma after Second War. You want to live without war, and you try to find any perspective, not start war. Even if Putin start war against the European Union, you try to do something because you have big trauma after Second War. It's only one reply.
So you mean that he knows that we don't want the war? And that he uses
nobody don't want to war, but sometimes you blind, because sometimes you shoot to fight or you will be die, or just the whole war die. If he used nuclear power against of Ukrainian, you also just will be destroyed. So now it's just like, you see European country just have some traumatized, or European Union, and see how big man try to beat some teenager, and you just watch and can say, take knife, take guns, and not help at all, because you don't want to fight, because you have some traumatized. It looks like this from Ukraine, because now Ukrainian army, small country, fight with huge, amazing, big empire, and you just stay, watch, and say, okay, take money, take weapons, take this, and just like watching like box match or something else, because just don't want to be part of this, because just afraid. And Russia laughing from European country because of it. You have army, you have weapons, you say NATO, it's huge and big, we just can stop any war, blah, 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 blah. But you have enemy now, and you can stop him. Because you're afraid start war, and I understand you. But why? Before Second War, because of Second War. And of course I understand. My country is also just, it was like Germany after Soviet Union occupied Ukrainian, so just in my country, war stopped in 1956 because a lot of Ukrainian independent army fight with Soviet Union in Lviv and this area before 1956, 10 years after Second War. In Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia is the same because they hate Soviet Union. So we also have traumatized, but we should to fight because we just between Russia and European Union. And why European Union before say us, you will be in NATO, you will be in European Union, just need do this, and just say, oh, you never will be in NATO. We joke. If the European Union say before, we don't want to see you in NATO and blah, 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 maybe Ukrainian government try to build some relationship between Russia and European Union, not like, I don't know, I'm just not expert of it, but after revolution in Ukraine, after there's a lot of people in 2014, we only can travel in European country without visa. Thank you. Only. Because maybe after 2014, European country didn't see Ukraine like part of European Union. Maybe even now. They want to stop Russia in our area, not like come back. Maybe they not send heavy weapons to Ukrainian because they don't care about all our territory. They just want to stop barbarians in our territory. So they need only, we can resist, not attack. Because if you start attack, Russia will be angry and start war against the European Union. So they try to do, I don't know, it's like in Vietnam, just they play on our territory and completely destroy our country.
You know I can't do anything, you know that, huh? I can't do anything about it. But what apart from sending,
speak a lot of, I don't know, about politics here. I don't know.
No, but it's really good that you say all these things because it's complicated to have proper information from people who are there and who are not oriented, who are not photojournalists or journalists or people who are coming to tell the story they want. So it's important. And I also try to understand, to give other people any information because it's a small world, especially in the cultural one, the operators, the museums, the galleries, etc. And it's already a very oriented world, and people don't always get the difference. Honestly, I'm so sorry to say that, but between, for example, unfortunately, Russia and Belarus and Lithuania and Ukraine, and I add Lithuania to be polite. So it's like it's like trying to run against something you know that is anyway quicker than you are. Trying to make people understand that it's a war that is more important than a war. It's not a war; it's an invasion. And I'm trying to get tools for the others to understand because we only can do little things here in our photography, visual art world, but we are trying to make them the right way. So every information is important, and every contact is important, and every minute of your time is important. So thank you for that. I don't know if we can add something. Do you want to add anything? Boris was asking about help, but you've been very clear that the help is weapons, and I'm sorry, I still don't have it.
Yeah. It's about country, but just you ask me about not like help me personally, but help Ukrainian artists. Yeah.
But what about you personally, for example? Because I know that a few weeks ago you made a call to buy a car.
I tried to buy, but it looks like every car already in the war in Ukraine from Germany. And yeah, I tried to find it's too complicated. It's too complicated. But yeah, I just want to maybe share my experience, like a Ukrainian artist who live in Paris, who spend a lot of time in European country like Germany, like Paris, like Belgium. So yeah, we just live in Paris half year, maybe more, even come back. So I think in mentality, European curator, museum, and gallery think that we are from post-communistic country not equal European Union artists, and it's really, I feel it's like post-colonial theory. It's just like, but it's the same post-communist theory, because if I work in Ukraine like Ukrainian artists, everybody just can maybe support me if I do some stereotype what European curators think about Ukraine. But if I do project from my perspective, from my cultural point of view, and if it's just not the same situation like European curator or museum gallery think about my country, they not support me. Even Chernobyl, it's about tragic in my country, but I cannot find any grant, any support from the whole world during 6 years. But I'm sure if some French artists or Germany artists do the same project, they found immediately during a week.
Oh, you know, there are some French artists who work on Ukraine for years, and we only exhibit one guy, who is this French guy who is doing, and I won't say the name, but it's always the same.
Yeah, so maybe it looks like this, yeah, but sometimes it looks like European curators support Ukrainian artists who represent idea how curator see Ukrainian art. So it's the same like journalists. He think, okay, Kharkiv school like Bob Mikhailov or another artist who just work like this. So I'm just really respect old Kharkiv school and Bob Mikhailov, but it's not only one point of view in Ukrainian photography. We have a lot of different, yeah. And if I do something the similar like French guy, they try, it's not possible to show my picture or something or make an exhibition, because where I feel myself like not equal to European artists.
You have the same problems as Algerian photographers.
Which photographers?
From Algeria.
Yeah. In French, I know about this.
You have exactly the same
my
problems.
friends, yeah.
Same
my
thing.
Friend's artist has two names, Algerian and French, and have some experience. He tried to find some grants or something else with Algerian name. It's not possible. With French, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's racism.
It's racism, and it's a French guy who is going to live in Algeria will make less good picture than the Algerian, but he will get the grants.
Yes.
Yeah,
and that's unfortunately, I'm sorry to hear that, and I don't know how to help it, because, for example, you talked about the Kharkiv School of Photography. I wrote a paper with Nadia Kovalchuk 1 month ago about it, but even the Kharkiv School of Photography, which for you is something everybody wants to talk about all the time, is not known.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, but talking about this is already something that needs to be done. So if for you it's like a cliche and that you are tired of listening to people talking about the Kharkiv School of Photography, this is your side of the story, and on my side of the story is nobody knows about it.
So imagine it's Kharkiv School, it's a lot of photographer, and Bob Mikhailov, it's like big star, and nobody know. How it's possible somebody know about me or another, just one artist? It's just not, and Ukraine doesn't have grants for photography, any gallery for photography, museum of photography, any support of photography. It's just like not possible find any support. I just support my project only sell picture abroad in some collector who support me in French or Switzerland or Germany or America. But it's like unbelievable. I cannot make money in Ukraine because Ukraine don't care about photography. And of course, I understand. It's not like I say French racism because they don't support me. Of course, they support French guy, Germany support Germany, American support Germany. And it's problem of my country. They just don't respect contemporary photography because they think photography is like, I don't know, it's even not, we don't have any museum of photography. I didn't expose my personal exhibition, culture of interpretation in Ukraine. It's about revelation in Ukraine, and I just had a lot of exhibition in museum or gallery abroad, but never personal exhibition in my country. It speaks a lot about Ukrainian photography. Even in Ukraine.
It says a lot about, sorry, what?
Especially documentary photography.
Yeah, documentary. Yeah, Kharkiv School now it's like open every door. It's just if you're from Kharkiv School and take connected in, okay. Yeah, and just do this picture. So, but yeah, it's.
But this is also the it goes with everything you said before. It's a country that needs to be heard by its own voice, but it's also very difficult for yourself to hear to your own voice, and you have to be very prepared for that. I'm here. People are so uninformed, underinformed, that if I give 3 names of Ukrainian photographers, I'm like a specialist now. But I wasn't 2 months ago. I only knew 2 or 4 something. But if you give some proper information, you're just like, wow, you know so many. No, I don't. But it's everything that Russia kept under its feet for a long time, and you're getting used to that. And people on the other side, on our side, as we are very used to have our government pushing the artist as a soft power everywhere, you don't understand that the other don't do it. And if they don't do it, you think there is nothing to push.
But
it's like a soccer play. Like if you have no team, if you don't see your team playing,
But maybe because of it, a European Union not try to stop Russia in 2014, because for European Union, even for creative, even for artwork, Ukraine is part of Russia culture. Even in exhibitions, they just try to expose Ukrainian and Russian together, because they think we are with just one country. Imagine if we say just French and Germany in the same country, or French and maybe Belgium, it's more close, but yeah, we just, Russia even cannot understand our language. Ukrainian language, I understand Poland language or a little bit Czech language. We have the similar roots of language, but Russia, it's completely different. I know Russia because I just born in Soviet Union. I should to learn Russian language, but Russia cannot understand our language. For European countries, European people think our language similar. No, it's completely 2 different language. And if we have different language, our mentality also completely different. Like Germany and French, different language, different mentality, everything different. Language built nations. So it's very important to understand our language completely different. It's firstly why we are different.
I think it's a lot of work to do when you're going to win the war and be free and have a big ministry of culture and diplomacy and everything, because this is a big building area. Here you have no, as it is the Cyrillic alphabet, for us it's like something all the same. And people don't really understand Russia. So when you say that Russian and Ukrainian artists are not supposed to be together, it's difficult from our side to understand that Russian want it, because they're usually okay with it, and that Ukrainian were not protesting until lately. They were not saying, I don't want to. So we were making these exhibitions with Ukrainian and Russians without being conscious.
I think one mistake. European Union never think about Russia like Russia. It just continues Soviet Union. They afraid Soviet Union. They know area of Soviet Union, and just they continue that Ukrainian is part of Russia. So it's just like change name, Soviet Union and Russia, but still before war in Ukraine, thinking that we are just like one country, one culture, and afraid Soviet Union and blah, 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 blah. But the Soviet Union just, I don't know, it was that collapse since 1991. Russia, it's completely different. It's not like 15 different republic like it was before. It's just Russia. Not Russia Empire even. It's just Russia. Weaker countries than before. But everybody just still thinking about Russia like about Soviet Union with huge army and blah, blah, blah. And what we saw now, yeah, we saw huge army, but small, weak army without heavy weapons resist, try to stop it. We lost many men, many soldiers, just lost a lot of civilians. And now we saw in Bucha what is mean Russian army. Not army, it's barbarians. They just hate our country not because of, I don't know, something. They just hate us. They try to destroy our country. It's just like genocide. Just killed women, children, everybody. It's, I don't know, it's madness. It's like crazy. And maybe now, yeah, Ukrainian just try to be independent more, and now European people from Europe, America, and another country understand just we have different culture, different language, different history, and try to find. Now I just speak with some museum, Texas Museum in America, and we speak about history of Ukrainian photography, because nobody knows about history Ukrainian photography. Nobody knows that Malevich is Ukrainian. He is not Russian. Stravinsky, just a musician, is Ukrainian. Gogol is Ukrainian. It's too many people Ukrainian, not Russian. Russian just used and say it's Russian, but it's not true.
I understand, but from the other side, for Gogol, for example, I didn't know. I saw something last week, but it's again difficult on our side to realize that you had Malevich and Gogol, for example, and that you let the Russian say it's Russian. This lack of, because you couldn't, but it's difficult from our side to understand that you couldn't.
You should to go to Algeria 50 years ago, and you can understand why it can be. Because Algerian people fight in your army, and French guy just sitting in Paris and eat croissant and drink coffee. They just, we couldn't resist. We tried, we fight, but we'll all the time Russia, I don't know, do something. So it's like 300 years we tried to fight many times, and all the time it's bigger country. It's just, you should understand that it's just like, I don't know, big strong man, and just we're a small country. Not like small, just Ukrainian bigger than France, yeah, but biggest country in European Union, but if you just see Russian, it's just like huge areas. They can fight with stone. They have a lot of people, and with stone can just destroy Ukrainian, because they don't care about people. They just lost more than 20,000 Russian soldiers and don't care about it, because they have millions of people and can send and send and send like barbarians. We called Russian orcs, like from
from the trilogy.
Yeah, because they just go, they killed and destroyed everything. It's like the same behavior.
Yeah, Ukrainians.
If you see Russian soldier, it's please.
Ukrainians resisted their whole history, but during Russian Empire, during Soviet Union, like thousands of people from art, from other spheres, they were either killed or sent to Siberia or other like places. So all those like educated people whom we have, Ukrainians, great people who could make any changes, they were killed. And of course, with each new generation, Russia tried to make as much as they can to raise just slaves. But of course, it's not possible to make in our country, like to make total slaves, because as Maxim said, mentally we are designing freedom. That is why all our history, we are resisting all these revolutions, wars, and so on, because we don't like other people to say us what to do. This is why we are fighting our whole history. But of course, our neighbor, big neighbor, they always want just to get our country and to get it under control. So of course it's very hard for us to resist, because we are much smaller and we have much less like power to resist them.
But we can do it.
Yes, of course. Now we can see that everything.
Yeah, but it's only depends of government from the West. We just can do it during a few months, or we can do it during few years. With 5,000 dead people or with 100,000 dead people. Just only this, because it's not possible to occupy Ukraine, because everybody will resist. It just, even if they occupy, they should do all the time used weapons or something else, because nobody will do just respect or just continue life. Now it's not possible. It just, they should to destroy our country completely, like Mariupol. It's only one way. They cannot go inside in Mariupol and fight. They destroyed in shelling. What they can do, only shelling. If army try to fight with our army, it's our army fight for our city, for family, for nation, for army occupied, and they understand it, and they just come to Ukraine firstly in Kiev and think it will be like in Crimea. Everybody just will be happy with flowers and say, we are happy to see Russian, but it's not true. It's not true. Security service make Telegram channel, and every teenager can send picture, video with pin, geo pin, and send where Russian troops, and immediately some rockets or aircraft or helicopter destroy a column of Russian people. So it's not possible even moving in our country, because spy, it's every, and they, because of killed in Bucha a lot of people, because they know everybody hates Russia. Everybody try to support Ukrainian army. Everybody, children, women, old men, everybody.
Do you have anything more that you'd like us to understand? I think we're together for 1 hour and a half already. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time. It's super long. It's our longest talk, I think, but you it was very very interesting for me, and I hope for a lot of other people who are watching this on live or recorded later. Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, just first of all, I want to, because I'm criticized a lot of European government and say, but of course, with your support, we can resist. Without your support, we just, I don't know, just, yeah, it's really true, because you support, you just, not you just, government could do it early and send heavy weapons, but even what they sent us, it's really helped the Ukrainian army, and we can resist and just push back from North Russian army, because they say, yeah, it was like first phase of the war, wasn't our plan, but believe me, we know that was planned. They just couldn't do it, and now just concentrate only one way. But before they want to go, because troops go to the Kiev, they try to capture Kiev. Just it's not possible, because European country, Americans, the whole world with Ukrainian. So just first of all, I want to thank you, because we know we are not alone.
I hope you are not alone, and you're going to win. And I think also that you have every right to criticize anything you want, because you are the ones with thousands of dead people on your side. So whatever we are doing, it's not enough yet. But thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for being with us. And thanks, of course, Boris, who left us, but you just make sure that I was pushing the right buttons like a monkey. So thank you. Because that's what I am, a technical monkey. If I push something that is not right, it's going to explode. Thank you so much. I hope that someday soon we're going to meet in person somewhere. And I don't care about Paris or Arles. I want to meet you in Kiev or somewhere where we can be free and safe. And
maybe speak more about art, about photography, about not war.
And make thousands of exhibitions of the whole new Ukrainian scene that is going to conquer the world and spread the identity of Ukraine in other countries that have been under Russian supremacy for so long.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
That's going to be my creation. But I wish you all this, and I hope you're going to be okay in the next days, and to see you soon. Thank you so much again.
Thank you too so much.
Thank
you.
You.
And sorry, if there is anything we can help, if with our little powers that have no weapon in our pockets, just ask. We never know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice good night. Have a nice day.
Yeah. You too. Have a good day.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.